People say I talk about some weird stuff, some far out stuff. But how about that chair that you're sitting in isn't solid? How weird is that? This reality is nothing like we think it is.
When I saw what Icke is doing, I was a bit jealous of him. Wow, look at what this guy's doing.
I don't know if anybody else could do it but him, actually.
We are in a period now where speaking your truth is not just important, it's utterly crucial to where humanity goes from here. The world needs renegades. I've had a great week. In fact, I've had about 3 great weeks. When I first started coming into this whole area of perception in 1990, 91, I found myself synchronistically visiting ancient sites. I mean, going back, some of them thousands of years, because Britain is the most extraordinary global center of ancient earthworks, stone circles, standing stones. I mean, they're just legion of them. And there's a reason for this, a global reason for this, which I'll get into another time. But it is a very, very powerful place energetically, Britain. And where I live on the Isle of Wight, just off the south coast of England, it's a very, very powerful place. Goes back in the understanding of that power to ancient times. And when I say power, I mean the power of the energy grid, what people call ley lines and vortexes. So in those early years, I would be visiting these sites around Britain and in different parts of the world, kind of as a matter of course. And then, the whole other part of my life came in, uncovering all that I've uncovered over the years. And since I've finished this new book, which is now actually being printed as we speak, the first batch of books is already on its way to North America. And the second lot are being printed now. Since that happened, and I finished it, which was a phenomenal year of total focus, because not only was I going around speaking at events all over the place and doing everything else, I was researching and writing this book, which is extraordinarily explosive. And I would turn up for an event at a place, and then I would be in my hotel room writing the book. Then I'd do the event and I'd go on to the next place, the same would happen. I'd write the book, then I'd do the event, move on, and so it went on. But again, incredibly synchronistically. I mean, the chapter I write that involves George Soros was written in Budapest, Hungary, which is where he was born. So that's the kind of synchronicity that I'm talking about, and so much more. But anyway, so after that absolute focusing for a year, I finished the book about 3 weeks ago. And suddenly my life has become, again, extraordinarily synchronistic in leading me to these ancient sites again. Not, in my mind, I'm going to go to these ancient sites, but the movement of events and, quote, coincidence kind of leads you there. And they are in some of the most extraordinarily beautiful places. And the ancients used to understand that there were these lines of force. They wouldn't have called them ley lines, obviously, and they would have perceived them in different symbolic ways. But they knew they existed, and they would build their stone circles, their standing stones, their settlements on these major vortexes where these lines cross. And where a couple of lines cross, it throws up a vortex. Where lots of lines cross, it throws up a massive vortex. And these vortices, they are basically spinning different dimensions in one spot. They're spinning them. They're like potential gateways, frequency gateways to other realities. It's why the ancients saw them as so sacred, if you like. And so when you visit these standing stone circles, and earthworks, ancient earthworks from settlements, you invariably find yourself, especially with the stones, but the earthworks too, on a major vortex point, a power point. So I've been visiting some of these again through coincidences. You lead there, oh, what a coincidence! I'm here, that sort of stuff, and it's been magical. And you do realize when you get out of your head just what a magical existence we actually have beyond the filter, the focus, and the perceptual limitations of the five senses. And so I'm going to do more of this because it's lovely. It really is. And I visited some this week in Dorset, and I've been through Dorset so many times, and I've been around areas of Dorset, but it's never really struck me like it did this week. What an unbelievably beautiful place it is. And so I've had a great week, and it lets you just put life as we experience it in human form into a whole new context and perspective at how transitory it is, how brief it is, how can I put it? Not insane, but how almost childlike it is compared with the true nature of us and the true nature of life. And what this whole conspiracy from deep in the rabbit hole is seeking to do is to stop us expanding our awareness into these other realms of knowledge, of knowing, and these other levels of information and perceptual points of observation. Because they want us to be so focused in the five senses that we actually go through our lives perceiving a tiny, tiny fraction of what we could potentially perceive, and understanding and self-identifying with a tiny, tiny, tiny fraction of what we really are, which is awareness. Awareness that can be expansive or as limited as we choose to make it through our perception of self. And so the idea is to bombard us with information that leads to perceptions of limitation, especially of self-identity. It's why they're now creating a society in which self-identities are getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. You know, these group of letters used to be called LGBT, and now there's loads of letters more after them, which all represent smaller and smaller minutiae of self-identity. And what they're doing is they're focusing our attention of our self-identity even more fiercely than ever. And the more fiercely we focus on the more and more minutiae of self-identity, the more we disconnect from the expansive consciousness that we are. And I've had some remarkable experiences in the last 3 weeks. I'll tell you that, and one day I'll write about them. People would call them paranormal experiences, whatever. They're not, but they're perceived to be from the ludicrously narrow sense of the normal and the possible in human reality. And what it's done is remind me, reconsciousness me, of the staggering difference in perception and possibility and the sense of the magical as opposed to the sense of the only survivable between five-sense reality and expanded consciousness. And I've been through, and I'm going to continue to go through in the near future, a breaking out into this even more expanded consciousness. And I think my work is going to change. It's already changing inside of me. Not that it's not the same, not that it's not the same journey, not that it's not the same goal or the same desired outcome. It's the same journey. It's just taking another stage now. And it's going to be very interesting where it leads me.